Go. We got it.
Yeah. Wow. Nice. We are live, episode number 86 of the Shant and Ari podcast. Shant, how you feeling tonight, big guy?
Feeling good. We have to report on some breaking news, which is why we're doing this podcast. We were doing it anyway, but the topic's going to be about a breaking news topic that we are going to discuss. But before we get to the breaking news, Adi, how's the mornings going, man? Like yesterday, you didn't want to do the podcast. I smoothed my whole schedule around again. And
It's another Suns game.
No, the Suns are off right now. How's the mornings going, man? Like you've been at this for a little bit. Just want to get some feedback before we jump into our topic.
So I actually got a massage yesterday.
Is that why we missed the podcast?
No. I had a massage yesterday. Shout out to Shant Basmajan. He bought me an hour-long massage at the massage place. Long story short, I had a ton of stuff going on yesterday, and I was totally beat. And this morning, I woke up at 5 to go to the gym, hit legs.
Nice.
I'll have you know, I did 3 plates again for like That's 6 reps for deadlift.
Just 3?
Just 3. Just 3. Then funny thing, Shant, you want to talk about like miserable? Me being in bed at 8, my dad stopped by our house, called me. He goes, "Oh, I'm here. I'm just going to pop in real quick." And he goes, "Are you asleep?" He was so thrown off. He's like, "Sorry." Like my dad's still wide awake, dude, like out and about at 8 p.m. I'm passed out. Oh, man, what the fuck is going on with me?
Yeah, he was probably like, oh, man.
He was baffled.
That's why I'm very disappointed in you.
He was baffled, dude. So, yeah, mornings are going good. Really, really enjoy waking up at 5 a.m. Not even being sarcastic. I'm really enjoying it. However, that probably, it wouldn't really work if I was going out at nighttime as much.
Yeah, you can't be going out, getting up at 5 a.m. You'll get burnt out pretty quick. There's some freaks out there that could do it, man. God bless you. Like business owners.
I was able to do it, Sean. I was able to do it for a little bit, but I'm able to do it now. I tried doing it when I had a girlfriend, and bro, the nights that I'd see her, constantly I'd wake up at like 7 a.m. I couldn't actually get up at 5, bro. So I felt like it was impossible to get it done.
Yeah, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. So I was actually, no, we won't talk. I don't need to talk about that. But so.
Talk about what, bro?
No, I was listening to a podcast today and he was talking about, like juicing, like getting some juices, like the green juices and then juices.
Not like steroids.
No, like juices with collagen. And then he's like, oh, you throw like he's like, I was at a store and because we were just talking about you doing legs and he's like, he's at the girl's like, oh, like if you work out, like get the one with turmeric for inflammation, right? You like it helps with inflammation. And he's like, oh, okay, helps with inflammation. He's like, even if you're throwing 6 plates around on leg press on each side, he's like, is this turmeric going to help my inflammation with 6 plates on each side? But when I'm squatting 3, she's like, I don't know. She's like, I don't know. Maybe you need a lot more turmeric than
you need quadruple the turmeric.
I just thought it was funny. I listened to it.
How many plates can you deadlift?
Deadlift? I don't deadlift that heavy. I'm like doing like 3. I don't deadlift heavy. I leg press heavy. 6
deadlift
plates.
Deadlift is more of a whole body, if you ask me.
Yeah. Yeah, you got lower back, butt, hamstrings, like
biceps.
Shoulders. Like deadlift is fucking biceps.
Deadlift is an activity, bro. It's a whole day.
If you're deadlifting,
it's my favorite exercise. It's a deadlift.
Really?
Yeah.
What are you
used to be shrugs.
What are you throwing on deadlift right now?
3 plates.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if Gabe's listening. Gabe probably throws like 7 plates, but
Gabe's a fucking tank. I thought Leo, your son, was a tank. Gabe is a fucking tank.
Dude, I used to work out with Gabe for a little stretch in the summer, right? During COVID, because he had like a hook up to a gym that was like open, like when COVID first hit. And we would go in and like he's like throwing weights, bro, like fucking just dominating it. And I'm like, all right, I'm like trying to catch up. He's like, all right, bro, I just warmed up. Like, let's hit it. I'm like, what?
I gotta go.
Like that was my workout
die.
for the week.
Yeah. Fuck.
He goes like, dude, he's on another level with strength, man. That kid. So
Has
yeah,
working out been, before we dive into the actual topic, has working out been tougher with after Leo? After
it
Leo?
was for a stretch because I let that be used as an excuse, right, to not go. And I was like, oh, the times, and
But it's a legitimate excuse. Why? What do you mean?
I mean, I could have, if it's important enough, you could get it done, right? But
Squeeze it in.
now, yeah, but now I set time for it. I get it done in the morning. It's not as long as I want to be at the gym, but it's something.
So, tell us about this breaking. I was shocked. Shocked.
Yeah, so I was on Instagram, right? Shocker, just kind of scrolling through, and I haven't been to Gary V's page in a long time. You know, this was 3 days ago. I saw something popped up on the story. I have not looked at Gary V's page in a long time, and then I just see a picture of him with a girl. Like I was like, oh, okay, like a fan or something. But she was super attractive, like dressed up. He's still with his jeans and t-shirt, like a sweater with a hat, right? And he's smiling. And I was like, oh, let me look at this. Like, is it a fan? Why would he post a picture with a fan? I'm like, is she a celebrity? And then it just says, you make me so deeply happy. And I'm like, wait, what?
This ain't his wife.
Yeah. And that's the thing. He's never, ever posted a picture of his wife.
Yeah, their life has always been very, very like I had no idea what the wife ever looked like. Patrick Bet David posts pictures of his family all the time.
Yeah, Grant Cardone pictures, and maybe she wanted it that way. I respect it, So I ask you because I was talking to a buddy of mine, real estate agent. Won't share his name. Very, very successful. He's crushing it, right? But he's a hard worker, dude. He kind of reminds me of you. Because he's like, because I was asking him, like, dude, how are you so like, what's your thing, your secret? And he's like, I'm always working. And I'm like, all right, cut the bullshit. Like, what's your secret? He's like, no, if I'm like, there's always something I could work on and improve. So he's like, it could be 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night. He's like, I'll think of something. I'll start working, create something. And
do you find that toxic in some way?
Who, me?
Yeah.
I kind of respect it, but
you respect it.
Betty would probably kill me if I did that every night. But so I was just like, and he's probably having a hard time finding a companion, right? A female companion, because he's trying to build something right now, right? I know you're in that stage where you're building. You've had some ups and downs, but I'm like, Gary V always talked about, like, oh, my marriage, this, kids, this, that. We don't know why he got divorced. But first, I want to ask you, what do you think happened? If you had to guess.
It's so sad because I remember you got me into Gary V a long time ago, and it really, really did encourage me. And it gave me a lot of ideas in terms of what I could be doing, and encouraged me to continue making content because he was like, dude, fuck your friends. Dude, you don't care about what they say. Just keep on doing it. And bro, to some degree, he was right. And he would almost make you feel bad that if you call yourself a hard worker or you call yourself an entrepreneur, but like you got to watch TV or like you got to like you can't find a way to make it work, yet you can make it work if you're trying to go out to like the movies with your like whatever. And it really, really hit home. But to me, after a little while, I feel like Gary Vee sort of ruined my life. Like, he made me feel like there was no other way to be successful than constantly be hitting the ground and just fucking work. And there was no other way for an entrepreneur to do this. And I feel like that might be one of the reasons why his marriage failed is because he was constantly in this like everything is business mode. Like even maybe how he's transacting with his wife and kids, he's putting them on schedule. He's he's making his time with his kids efficient.
Because like I know he lived in Jersey, and he would stay during the week in Manhattan because like he couldn't go back and forth every day, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like, okay, and I don't know if that's every day, but that was some days, right? So that's a tough one, right? Now, the counter argument to you with saying like he kind of ruined my life, which I understand your point, and obviously potentially maybe ruined his marriage. I don't know. We don't know. We don't want to speak on that. But he doing what he did, his recipe did create an amazing business, and his vision did come true because of it.
Yeah, but let me ask you a question. Okay, from a business and from a work point of view, the success that you earn at work or the monetary reward that you receive for all your hard work, how important do you think that actually is to somebody when nothing else, they don't have anything else to show for it? They don't have quality time that they've spent with their family and friends over the last 10 years. They don't have a relationship with a decent girl or guy. They didn't do any traveling. They didn't have any kids. I guess how important it may seem to you at the time, because you think that this is what's going to get you the success everywhere else. I feel like it's a giant slap in the face when you realize that nobody owes you shit. And in fact, the most successful people in the world right now are the ones with the worst relationships and are the ones that are getting divorced.
Yeah. Well, I think, yes, everyone, I think majority of people, I believe what is the divorce rate in the U.S. Okay. What do you think it is?
I'd say it's probably like 55%.
Why does it say divorce rate in America is 2.9 per 1,000? What does that mean?
What the hell does that mean?
Okay, 9%. Okay, that's actually pretty low. Or is that in California? That's in California. Okay, whatever. Well, I'll look for it, but maybe it's 14. I see something 15%. Okay, 15%. So yeah, it could be higher in the very successful, very busy entrepreneur. But what I will say, this is a question. I don't know the answer. You won't know the answer. Only Gary Vee and his ex-wife would know the answer. I don't know when they met. It must have been a while ago, right? Like it must have been before he was famous, I believe, right?
Yeah, had to have been.
And maybe, obviously, they didn't see this kind of maybe success coming, as far as like maybe success, but not so much out there, right? As far as like him being out there in the public, because there's a lot of successful, wealthy people we don't even know about, we don't even hear about, right? The other part is, was she on board with his vision?
Was she on board with his initial vision? Is the question, because I feel like you never know, even when you're at the beginning of your own path, exactly how hectic it's going to be.
Because like he could have been like, babe, I'm going to be the biggest thing in America. Everyone's going to know who I am. She's probably like, okay, yeah, we'll figure it out when we get there. Like,
right.
Could have been that. It could have been she's super private, right? And he is way out there, which is great. I see a lot of other people like Grant Cardone and Patrick Red-David. They share their family and they're more open, and they're usually traveling with their kids and family. And when he's like vlogging always, so it's like hard to do that. So maybe there was a disconnect there, but it's a tough one, man, because he's a super busy guy, and maybe she don't like that. Maybe it's not what she signed up for. Or maybe she did, but now she sees it and she's like, hey, I don't like this.
Maybe it's a little bit too extreme. Maybe we're not giving the woman as much credit as she deserves. Maybe she was initially up for that, but like it came to a point where she no longer even knew her husband.
Yeah, because he seems the same. I mean, he's still like, he hasn't changed much, but maybe the attention and like
the time. Maybe he just never was ever at home. He was constantly somewhere. So I guess let's say you aren't as extreme. Let's say you're not Gary Vee, but you're somebody that's trying to make a dent in your industry, and you are a busy person. You are a busy man or woman that you have this predisposition to not be 100% committed yet to how traditional relationships work. As in, you're not constantly free. You've got some scheduling issues. You're one of those people. What could you possibly be doing? And this is also a question to you, Shant. What could you possibly be doing or screening for in a possible partner that will point to whether or not this person would put up with your shit down the road, assuming that you don't get quadruple as busy as you are now? Maybe double, but not like Gary Vee, where he went from like 1 million to like 40 million or whatever, however many subscribers he got.
So that's a tough question, right? Because I think it's just like you hire an employee, right? Right. You hire, right? If you interviewed people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've interviewed people too, right? And it's when you're interviewing them, people tend to say the right things, right? And you never really know, because in their minds, they could either just be like, hey, yeah, I want the job, I'll say whatever, or they believe at that time that is what they want until it really, like, maybe you can never really get the truth. Like, I don't know if there's any way to screen that question, though.
There are some ways, and I think that it definitely, and especially the opposite way too, I think that you can be held accountable when you're asked certain questions. Like, let me ask you this question, Shant. Are you a racist?
No.
Okay. Do you think that now, from now on, you're going to think to yourself before any sort of like, oh, what's your opinion on Turks?
Me?
Don't you think that when you're asked the question, are you a racist? Are you a Patriots fan? Do you like cheese? Does it not automatically put you in that position where, listen, I've committed to my answer. I've given my straightforward answer, and this person is holding me accountable as being either truthful or not truthful. Are you okay with my current work schedule? And that's a yes or no answer. So let's start off by there first. I guess you're dating somebody and you ask the question, are you okay with my current work schedule? I'm not talking about what my schedule might look like in 20 years. I'm talking about, are you personally okay with what I'm doing right now? Okay.
So that's a good one, right? Because that's like tangible. It's like, hey, this is the actual thing that you have to deal with today, right?
Yeah.
So can I ask you a question?
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to answer. Is this from experience? And when you've asked this question to a potential person, did they answer yes and then it turned out to be wrong? Or did they answer, no, I can't handle it?
I never asked this question because I didn't find it necessary. It never even crossed my mind to have to ask this question.
Really?
But because of experience, it's now one of the questions that I need to ask.
You will ask now.
Yeah, it's a must ask. Are you okay with my current work schedule? And it's okay if that person takes a long time to say yes or no, because I'll know from how quickly you can answer the question how okay or how not okay you are with my work schedule. I don't need you to actually answer. I just need to know how much time it took you to answer yes or no. And that'll dictate how strongly you feel either way. Am I right or am I right?
Well, I think them taking a long time might be a good thing.
Well, yeah, because it means that they certainly have an opinion with some reservation, right? And that can be addressed. But to address this months into a relationship, that's a big, big issue. And
Mm-hmm.
it's not that you're in the right or she or he is in the right. It's just not a good idea to wait that long into a relationship to find out that this person is not okay with your current work schedule. Same thing with prenups. Prenups should be discussed at the beginning of a relationship. Like, yo, listen, given how I earn money, um, this is something that maybe we should talk about now before even things get even serious. I'll probably end up getting a prenup when I get married.
You will?
Fuck yeah.
Wow. It's
I
interesting.
have to. I have to. My business feeds 3 different households. I
Well,
can't I
yes,
can't leave that to risk.
I'm kind of anti prenup, but I'm in a different position because I'm already married. So um, I don't have that.
Well, your business,
And
your family, your other family members don't rely on a
yes,
single
yes.
source of income.
And everything built now is me and Betty together. So there's like, that's the difference, obviously.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't know. But that's why there's trusts and LLCs and stuff where everyone gets part of the business. Like they can't take the whole business. If legally the businesses are set the right way, they can only take half of your share.
Prenup.
I'm against prenups, but I'm not here to sway. This is not a prenup
Well,
podcast
maybe you
episode.
can give me some additional guidance here. What questions would you ask? What type of screening in your experience do you think is important for the entrepreneur, for the person that's trying to be successful and trying to have a successful relationship? For example, your friend. What questions do you think are important for him to be considering when he's asking, when he's not screening, but just
Kind
talking
of get to
to
know, yeah, yeah.
to his partners.
So it's a good question. Um, Maybe not questions, but conversation, right? Actually, yeah, questions, but within a conversation. So I would ask something like, or tell my friend, like, hey, this is my vision, right? My vision is to be X, Y, and Z. Okay. So with my vision, it's going to require a lot of sacrifice on my end. And whoever I end up with is going to be a lot of sacrifice, right? Is that something you're okay with? Right now, they'll say yes, yes, yes. Okay. What do you like? I would ask them what hobbies do you have? What are you into? Are you passionate about anything? Because if you're a super driver in life and business, whether you're a guy or girl, and you're asking the guy this, if you're the driver as the girl, you got to ask the guy this, does that other person have something, right? Because if they have nothing and they're just have nothing else to really focus on or kind of distract them with their time, they're going to be super needy, right? So you have to have that conversation. Hey, do you have any passions? Are you compassionate about anything? Are you um, are you interested in my business? Would you want to help in certain ways? And if they say no, that's great. Okay, perfect. Draw that line right there, right? Like you don't want to be in my business. You don't want to help out. That's awesome. What do you have that you would like to do on your free time to build something, create something? Oh, I don't want to create anything. Okay. Do you have any hobbies? Do you like to go with your friends? Do you like to do yoga and go do this with you? Like, what, there has to be something that they can spend their time with and not be dependent on you. And then I would ask, what was your parents' relationship like? Was your dad around or mom? Did they work a lot? How did that make you feel?
How did that make you feel? There you go. Did you have a father that also worked a lot that was
Now,
never really around?
Gary Vee's talked about this, so this was interesting because that one might not really be a thing. But Gary Vee's wife's dad used to work a lot, and she knew that. She's like, and that's why they got along. He said is because she was not used to seeing her dad, and she was okay with it.
So do you think that the same thing that some of these people, either guy or girl, some of the same things that they're attracted to, they're also repelled by? Does that make sense?
Hmm.
Like
So
you're
my
attracted to the fact that they work a lot, but you don't want them working that much when you're actually with them.
yeah, that's and then my friend, he's in real estate, and he said maybe I just need to date and get with and marry a super successful real estate agent. Now, do you think that's recipe for disaster? Like, would you be okay with you dating? Not okay, not that you wouldn't be okay, but do you think dating a super successful businesswoman, which I'm not saying you'd be against it, would that match? Would that mesh well?
Yes and no, because I feel like let me explain why this is so important. I think that any entrepreneur should be with somebody that's not in your typical 9 to 5. As in, she doesn't need to be a business person. She could be an artist. She could be somebody that's just self-made, that understands the concept of I don't work for anybody else on the clock. I'm doing things, I'm building something from nothing, and I understand the problem with that. I get it. It's not that you might not be doing business. You might be making fucking indie films, but you understand the grind that comes along with it. Or if you're somebody that's in the 9 to 5, you should be with somebody that's in the 9 to 5. And if you're thinking for whatever reason you can make it work, you will run into a lot of issues, because certainly I have, and a lot of other people that I know that are business people have, unless it's clear from the start, or
Yeah,
the
and
other person besides their 9 to 5 has deeper interests that keeps them busy.
so I got lucky in the sense where I didn't start, like in your shoes, you start a business and you weren't married before. So I was married already, had a good relationship with Betty before I started a business, right? So we already had a foundation. We already spent time together. We did everything, right? So you work a lot, and trying to build a new relationship is super tough because you have very limited time. I had 7 years of time before I got into business, right? Now,
Mhm.
the flip side to that is when I did get into it, and now Betty is as well, she's super okay with me working a lot because she believes in my vision, our vision. We created a vision together, and she understands the sacrifice. But I don't go super overboard. Like, I'm not up till 1 a.m., whatever, or just, um, but I do work more than most regular people, more than 9 to 5, right? I probably work 7 days a week, and but she's okay with it because we built this vision together. Now it's tough when you have something, and she's a 9 to 5 person. Well, she was, now she stays at home, but she was a 9 to 5 person, but she was still okay with it. So in your case, and my friend's case, it's more difficult because you're in the building process of your businesses in your case.
So I feel like in a relationship, there's always a dynamic where you're either on the same team or you're playing against each other. And some people, they get stuck in a relationship with somebody that they're, for some odd reason, playing against instead of playing with. And initially, you can screen for this. Let me tell you one thing that I've learned a lot about myself, is that if you think for whatever reason you may have a problem with relationships, one of the most important things that you could screen for, in my opinion, is passive aggressive behavior. How much do
Okay.
they hold shit in? And this is what leads to this whole, are we playing with each other in this game called life? Or are we playing against each other in this game called life? Because what you have, Shant, is somebody that also shares your end goal in mind when she's thinking to herself, "Oh, Shant can't do this because he's out trying to complete this particular thing for our shared goal." Yet another person would look at, "Oh, Shant's out there doing some shit that revolves around his work that has nothing to do with me. All I know is that
Mm.
he brings home money."
Yeah, and that's the difference, right? Where it's like he's doing this for himself, right? Now, is
He
it
doesn't
been
need to be
100%?
working this much. He
Yeah,
wants to be.
he
He's
can relax.
working more than he wants to be with me.
Yeah, and there's been obviously I haven't me and Betty haven't been 100%. There's been times where it's been um, an issue, right? It hasn't been perfect.
Well,
Where
can you
it's been
talk
like,
about
oh,
that?
yeah. I mean, I can't remember of any instances, but there's been times where like we've made plans and it's like, oh shit, like I got to go show a property, and she's like, shit, like I'm sure it sucks for her. Like it's not like she's like, oh yeah, great, awesome. Let's cancel our plans.
So
But
tell me what that's been like. Is she the passive aggressive type? I'm sure she
no, she
isn't,
would
but
usually say, no, she would usually just say like, you would know, and she's just like, you would know she's upset, and just kind of, and then she would get over it, and she's very quick to get over things, which is good. And I'm not. I usually hold on to things a lot longer,
passive
but
aggressively.
probably maybe I don't know. That's a you got to ask her that. But there's been times where it's a Saturday, we have a plan. I'm like, oh, there's this person wants to see a house, like, but I'm like, I'm gonna tell them no because like, um, we we had plans, and she's like, no, 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 go, like, go do it. There was a time early when I started, we booked a vacation or whatever, and then I didn't want to go. We booked Greece. I was like, I gotta work. She was kind of pissed. Like, I want to go to Greece, but I'm like, yeah, I gotta work. And I was like, just take your mom. And she's like, okay, cool. Like, moved on, right? like, um,
I
this
remember
past Super
this.
Bowl, I was supposed to go show a house, but she's pregnant. We have people coming over, and she's like, hey, like, I need your help. You can't just leave. She's Leo's there, 6, 7 months pregnant, like trying to prep. So she's like, yeah, don't go. Just don't. And I was like, okay. Um,
So
but
you
it's different.
listening?
Yeah, because she's pregnant. She's struggling. She wasn't feeling too good. She has to prep, and Leo's being annoying. So it's like, yeah, you got to read the room too. Um, you got to give a little on the person who is the business owner or busy entrepreneur. You have to give in. You can't be 100% like, no. You got to read the room.
So here are some changes that I was making midway through my own relationship. That I very much I plan to carry through. Carry that through into the next couple of relationships. One of the biggest one was don't reactively make plans. Like you see that they're feeling like neglected a little bit, like, oh yeah, babe, well, let's go out to dinner later. Like, no, 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 don't wait until things start to get a little bit like gloomy for you to try and fix a problem later. Actively go out of your way to make plans completely uncalled for and completely different than what you would normally do. Like after I get out of work, let's go here and here. Like no, like take a half day and say, hey, I feel like spending the day with you. Basically, make it so that that person feels a little bit more special than, oh, I come after work. Like no, sometimes you come before work. Like I want you to know that it is what it is, but I very much think of you also when I'm working. You
And
don't just come as an afterthought.
have you done that in the past, or is it something you learned and are going to start doing?
No, unfortunately, bro, my relationship, this past one, taught me a lot about how to manage time a little bit better. Um, it sucks, but I mean, you live and you learn, you know.
No, I like that
Um,
you take you from everything I've heard, and before you said like the question you will ask now because you did it last time. It feels like sounds like you're taking like more accountability, right?
oh yeah, 100%. I want to know. I want to know exactly what is okay and what isn't okay. And it's sometimes, like I said, you don't even need to hear the answer, yes or no. It's just really just a matter of how long it takes the person to respond, and how they feel about the question.
Yeah, because
Um,
if they say, "Oh yeah, I'll be like," you ask the question, "Hey, would you be okay? This is my work schedule. Are you okay with it?" Yeah, yeah, 100%. You're gonna be like, well, you really think
yeah,
about
like
it?
6 months later, a year later, are you going to be giving me shit for the same schedule? Are you sure you're not going to get tired of it? Okay, let's revisit that in 6 months to a year, but let's talk about it. Don't
You know
hold
what
shit
answer?
against
Yeah,
me.
you know what answer I would really respect? I don't know, but I'm willing to try out and see what happens.
That could work. That could work as long as there's an open line of communication about what you're doing, not passive aggressive behavior.
Yeah,
That's
you said
the
passive aggressive a bunch of times. You hate that shit. It seems.
It's tough. It's tough because I don't have enough time to read the passive aggressive behavior, and technology makes it very difficult for you to actually tell if somebody's being passive aggressive. How the fuck am I supposed to know you've got a problem with me over text? So that's an issue. If I'm with you in person and you're actively giving me attitude, I could probably tell that there's an issue, but I can't tell if you fall off for like 8 hours during the day.
Yeah,
Uh,
and I think that's another issue potentially is what's the communication like throughout the day? Are you texting all day, right? Are you sending me shit all day, or just because I see it as, and me and Betty are super, again, we're lucky because we came pre like when texting was a thing, right? So we wouldn't talk throughout the day when we were dating. It would be, and I know I've talked about this on the podcast, we would call each other at night or FaceTime and talk for an hour, 2 hours and talk about our day. But now, because of texting and stuff, people are texting all throughout the day and they're in these text relationships. And it's like, oh, what are you doing? Oh, I'm doing this. Okay, cool. Then you go see them at night and you have nothing to fucking talk about, right? Me and Betty to this day, we still don't chat through fucking text during the day. It's I'll send dinner question mark. Like, like, what do you want? Are we having it? What's the deal? Am I on my own? Are you on your own? Like, or where are you at? Super like just not like, oh, how's your day going? What did you do? It's just fucking a question I need answered.
so this leads me to my next thing, that a lot of times when you first get into a relationship, there's this phase where you start making some exceptions and you start doing things that are a little bit out of the norm because you're excited, you want to spend time with them, you got this new thing going on, and you start doing things that you don't normally do. And maybe these things in a few months are not going to be the same way. As in, you are
Mm.
at fault. You certainly are
So
at fault.
so like setting the precedent, like if you're early, just like early in the relationship, is if I'm understanding right, you spend so much time with them because yeah, it's the new. You're freaking excited. You're spending
You start
time.
making
Then
exceptions. You start leaving
yeah,
work a
then
little early.
yeah, then things level off and the relationship is cool. You've gone deeper, but now it's like okay, back to like grind mode. And she's like, whoa, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, this is not what I signed up for when you initially asked me, would you be okay
Yeah,
with this? Which leads me to my next question. Do it in reverse. Next point, not question. Do it in reverse. Don't give flexibility in your schedule and how you're doing things at the start. Make it less flexible in the start. See if that shit holds up with her, and then become flexible. As in, don't be one way in the very beginning and then completely change in the bad way, but start off as being a little bit harder to bend your work schedule, and then bend it once you find out how cool she is with the tougher times. The times
yeah,
where
like
you genuinely can't get out of work until 8 p.m., even though you can get out of work at 7. Listen, I did that shit. I never left work early. And even if I did, I didn't tell the girl I was leaving work early. I was doing it so that I can get extra prepared. Maybe take a longer shower than I normally would have, or do a couple things before the girl got to the house. But I would never say, hey, I got out of work early for you.
you put them through a freaking boot camp, bro.
Because this is it. This is legit. I had a girl a few years ago, the dentist. She was so fucking down with my work schedule. She was like, it's okay, don't shower after work, just come and pick me up. I'm like, smell like donkey dick. What are you talking about? I'm like, no, I have to. She goes, no, it's okay. Just, I can't wait to see you. Don't worry about it. Just come and pick me up. I'm like, something's fucking off with you. Like,
Yeah,
so some people are just down. They're good. Don't worry about it. And then some people, like, bro, you got to make special exceptions for them to feel special. That's just how it
yeah,
works. You guys are not on the actual same team. Don't think that you are unless she's saying shit like, don't worry about taking a shower after work.
yeah.
That's,
After being in front of kebab for 12 hours.
yeah, that's like, you got it good type shit.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's there's no perfect science, man. I think it's super tough. I'm like I said, I'm lucky that I found someone before, right? And I think it's going to be tough for anyone who's creating something, right? And is super busy and has this big vision. I guess the vision part would be, if it is new with someone, can you include them in your vision? Even though it's kind of weird because it's like a newer relationship. Because like if you're telling this person you're dating, hey, this is my vision, and it's me, it could come off to them like, okay, this is their vision, has nothing to do with me. He's works too much. But if it's like, hey, this is my vision for me and my future wife or my future husband, this is what I want it to be. That might be a little bit more inviting, inclusive.
As in paint a picture that you want her to also paint with you type of
Yeah,
thing.
you don't know. Yeah, because you can't just say, "Hey, I want me and you to do this," because like she's still new. Like you can't. Like people get turned off when you say like, "Hey, let's say her name is Jennifer." Okay, I don't know. I hope you haven't dated any Jennifers because I'm not trying to call anyone out, but let's say, hey.
No, we're good.
Okay. So I tried to pick a super thing name, not like, I don't know. I was going to say just like a weird Armenian name.
Harif.
Yeah. Haripsine. So if you're just like, hey, Jennifer, you know, we just started dating, we're dating, and it's like, hey, I know I work a lot. This is my work schedule, but this is my vision for us. Like, if we get to this point, you know, I want to create this life or this vision. Are you blah, blah? Are you down? That sounds creepy. But if you say, hey, Jennifer, I work a lot. This is my vision. This is the vision I want with my future wife. This is the life that I'm thinking about, blah, blah, blah. It sounds a little bit more like, oh, shit, like that could be me one day.
Yeah, I love that. It's are you trying to play on my same team, or are we playing against each other and you're trying to reap
Right.
all the fucking rewards? You're trying to rob
Yeah,
me
it's
blind of my fucking trophy.
no prenup, bro. Come on.
All I'm saying is that you got it pretty good, Shant. You got lucky.
I told Betty because we were watching the show and a prenup thing came up. And I was like, you should sign a prenup right now. And she's like, yeah, shit, let's do it. Because half of like most of the stuff's because of me. And I was like, all right, cool. Yeah, so fuck it. No prenup.
That's so great. That is awesome.
Yeah. Because I always mess with her because like we have a trust, a family trust, but it's called the John Essian Family Trust. So we have our houses in it, our stuff, or everything. And I was like, if you divorce, you leave, you're out of the John Essian Family Trust. It's a John Essian Family Trust.
With one S.
You can't be in it if you go back to your other last name. And
that's great.
Doesn't end too well when I bring that up. But
so, question for you. So, what in your marriage? What things do you do that you feel like you need to do with Betty to make things work correctly? Do you guys have like a meeting or like a check-in? What do you guys do?
So this is super. We had this conversation today in my real estate office, actually, with a bunch of people, because they're like, "Oh, what did you guys do for Valentine's Day?" I was like, "Nothing," and they're like, "What? Oh my god, why not?" I was like, "Dude, I didn't even know it was fucking Valentine's Day, right? I have no clue." And they're like, "You got to do something." I'm like, "Listen, Betty understands. She's married me for a long time. I don't even know when my birthday's coming up. Okay, I don't know." Her birthday's coming up. I don't know what the fuck's going on. Christmas. Oh, people are coming over today. Why? Oh, babe, it's fucking Christmas. Like, I just go. Okay. I don't look at dates. I don't look at what's going on. Oh, it's Valentine's Day. Let's go do something. I tell Betty, and she knows this, and you want something, you need something, you want to go on vacation, just fucking book it. Let me know. And so that does cause some rift because like women want to feel like they're special and wanted, right? And there's been some arguments because it's like we never go anywhere. It's like, okay, you want to go somewhere, book it. Go on Google and book it, and I'll be there. But women sometimes want you to be thinking of them.
Right. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
That's what I mean when I say proactively do it, don't reactively do it.
So for Betty, what I found, because I've been yelled at so many times by not doing these kind of things, and you learn by just getting yelled at so much, rightfully so. She's like, just do acts of kindness. So like, she's like, just think of me. Like her cup is not full. Hey, let me go get you some water. The dishes are thing, do the dishes. Just step in. If she's like, you feel like you see me just like struggling, just do some dishes. You see, I like to drink my tea, get my tea ready at night. That's what she really appreciates. So knowing what your girl, the acts of kindness, what is that book? The 5 levels of love language, the love language, finding out.
Yeah.
Betty recommends that book, by the way. To me, I haven't read it yet. And I was like, can I make more money with that book?
It's a business. It's a financial book.
Yeah. Can I sell more if I read that book? Okay, no, okay, then yeah, I don't want to read it right now. So knowing what she doesn't, so it's more just thinking of her for the little day-to-day things. If I do that right, the bigger stuff is not a big deal. But it's also being conscious and doing the little things here and there.
The book was The Five Love Languages by Gary Chapman, if anybody's interested.
Very
that makes
highly
a lot of
recommended.
sense.
Very highly recommended by my wife. One day I'll get to it.
Oh man, do it. That's probably
One of her love
an act of kindness that she's looking for. Like, I went out of my way to listen or read or whatever. Why the fuck did Gary V get a divorce, bro?
That was shocking, like out of nowhere. And it's like a picture with a hot chick. It's like, dude, come on.
Like, yeah, like you
never posted about your family. Now all of a sudden you're gonna post with a chick. Like, it's kind of fucked up, but
it is kind of fucked up. Maybe she did something kind of fucked up. Maybe she threw away all his baseball cards that he got at the
garage.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I hope you guys really took some notes. We gave you some really, really professional advice on how to find your mate in a crazy, busy world. If you're a busy person, definitely take our advice over anyone's. We are very highly qualified.
Yeah, don't listen to anybody else. If you got a 9 to 5, stick with the 9 to 5 kind of guy or girl. If you're an entrepreneur, chances are your 9 to 5 chick is not going to cut it. So, just giving you a heads up now.
Tough.
We'll continue this. We'll get a little bit deeper into this at some point. I assume more information will be once it's available to me.
Yeah, once we talk to our sources, get some info, we'll share it back with you guys as we.
Yeah, we'll find out more about this whole Gary V divorce situation. Just to give you a little muscle update too. That's
coming.
Yeah. So yeah. All right. Well, good night, Shant.
Good night, everyone.